Arteta just confirmed the lineup, and honestly, it worries me. Noni Madueke starting on the right again, knit in what might be the most important Arsenal League game in 2 years. Think about that for a second. We are in late April. We are second in the Premier League. Manchester City have momentum, and the man tasked with replacing Bukayo Saka, one of the best wingers in the world, is a player who has not completed a single key dribble in his last 4 appearances. Nit, that is not me being harsh. That is the reality of where we are. And here is the thing that really gets me. It is not just that Madueke is struggling. It is that Newcastle United are perfectly built to make him disappear. Their shape, their defensive discipline, the way Eddie Howe sets them up to absorb and then suffocate. It is almost tailor-made to neutralize exactly what Madueke offers, which right now is pace and very little else. So why is Arteta doing this? Is there truly no other option? And what happens to Arsenal's title hopes if the right flank is as quiet as I think it might be? That is what we are getting into today. I am Amelia. Welcome back. If you are new here, we go deep on Arsenal. Tactics, decisions, the stuff that actually decides games. Hit subscribe if you want the full post-match breakdown after Saturday. And I want to ask you something before we even get into it. Do you trust Madueke to start this game? Yes or no? Drop it in the comments. I am genuinely curious where you all stand on this one. Right, let us talk about what is actually going on. Because here is the thing most people are getting wrong about this Arsenal lineup. Everyone is talking about who starts. Saka or no Saka. Timber or White, Madueke or someone else. And those are real conversations, but they are the wrong place to start. The right place to start is the system, because the system is what determines whether any of those individual decisions even matter. Arsenal have been at their best this season when they play a very specific way, a narrow 4-3-3 that invites the 2 wide players to cut inside. The left winger, Eze in this case, drifts into the space between Newcastle's midfield and defensive lines. The striker holds and links, and the 3 central midfielders create a box shape when Arsenal are in possession, which gives them numerical superiority in the zones that matter most. When that system works, Arsenal are genuinely beautiful to watch. The ball moves quickly, the triangles are sharp, and the opposition, even good ones, simply cannot get near them. But here is the problem, and it is a serious one. That system requires the right winger to do something very specific. It requires them to pin the opposing left back, to offer the constant threat of going one-on-one, to make Newcastle's defensive shape stay wide, which in turn opens the central channels for Odegaard and Eze. Saka does that without even thinking. He is automatic. He runs at Luke and takes him wide, and everything else opens up behind him. Madueke cannot do that consistently right now, and I do not say that to be cruel. Madueke is a talented player. He was genuinely exciting in flashes earlier in the season. But what we are seeing right now is a player who is hesitating at the critical moment. He gets to the decision point. Do I go inside or do I go outside? And he freezes. And when you freeze against a well-organized defensive block, the move dies. Every single time. So if Madueke is not pinning Newcastle's left back, what happens? Newcastle's shape stays compact. Their midfield can sit narrower. And that means less space for Odegaard, less space for Eze, less space for the runs Havertz needs to exploit in behind. One player's hesitation affects the entire system. That is how interconnected top-level football is. And that is why this decision, this one position, carries so much weight on Saturday. Do you think Arteta has a tactical answer for this? Because I am not sure he does. Let me know in the comments what you think he should do differently. But here is where it gets even more complicated, because the Madueke problem is only one of 3 decisions that Arteta has to get right on Saturday, and the other 2 are just as delicate. Let us talk about midfield. Specifically, let us talk about Bruno Guimaraes. He is back. And I think that is the most underreported part of this entire team news story. Everyone is focused on Saka, rightly so. But if you are building an Arsenal game plan this week, the thing you are most worried about, if you are being honest, is not the right flank. It is Bruno. Bruno Guimaraes is one of the best central midfielders in the Premier League. Full stop. He has the ability to receive the ball in tight spaces, to drive forward, to pick the pass that nobody else sees, and more importantly, he knows how to win physical battles in central midfield, which is exactly what Newcastle will need if they want to disrupt Arsenal's build-up. Now, Zubimendi is a talented player. I genuinely believe that. But we saw last week against City what happens when Arsenal's pivot is asked to deal with elite-level midfield pressure. He struggled. He was not as composed as we needed him to be. He was beaten to second balls. He gave it away in dangerous areas. Against Bruno, that is a problem. So here is the dilemma Arteta faces. Does he ask Zubimendi to shadow Bruno man-to-man, which is a valid option? Shadow him, be physical, deny him time on the ball. The risk is that Bruno drifts wide and takes Zubimendi out of position, and then Arsenal have a hole in central midfield. Or does he ask Rice to handle Bruno, which makes more sense physically? Rice has the athleticism and the aggression to bother him, but if Rice is spending his energy following Bruno around, who is protecting the defensive line? Who is covering the space in behind Zubimendi? And if neither of them tracks Bruno properly, if they go zone instead of man, then Bruno picks up the ball in the exact pocket of space between Arsenal's lines where he is most dangerous. And from there, Newcastle start to look like a proper threat. This is not a small thing. This is potentially the game inside the game. And I think it is going to decide the result, more than the right winger situation does. Now think about this. If Rice goes to battle with Bruno and Odegaard has to drop deeper to cover, which he will because Arteta always asks him to defensively contribute, then Arsenal lose their creative fulcrum in the final third. And then all the pressure falls on Eze to create something from the left side. Which brings me to decision number 3. And this one is the most emotional for me personally. Jurrien Timber. He is close to coming back. Reports suggest he could be available for minutes off the bench. And part of me is desperate to see him on that pitch on Saturday. Not just because he is a better option than Ben White in this specific game, though he is, but because Timber changes the entire dynamic of how Arsenal play down the right side. When Timber is fit and playing, he overlaps intelligently. He combines with the right winger in ways that White simply does not do at the same level. He adds an extra passing option. He gives Arsenal width without relying on the winger to provide it, which, if Madueke is struggling, is enormous. But here is the risk, and I need you to sit with this one for a moment. It is April. It is the title run-in. Timber has had a groin issue. Groin injuries, if you push through them before they are fully healed, have a way of becoming long-term problems very quickly. And the last time Arsenal had a key defender go down in the final months of a title race, Saliba, 2022-23. The consequences were catastrophic. Not just tactically, psychologically. The team unraveled. Yango, if Timber comes on for 30 minutes on Saturday and re-injures that groin, what then? White starts at Old Trafford next week. White starts at West Ham. Timber misses the rest of the season. And Arsenal go into the final 4 games without the one player who could actually solve their right side problem. That is the nightmare scenario, and Arteta knows it. Which is why this decision, bench him and wait, or use him and risk, is the hardest call he has to make this weekend. Younger, would you bring Timber on if it was your call? I want your honest answer. Drop it below. Right, let me tell you what I would actually do. My lineup, my logic. Young in goal, David Raya. That one writes itself. He has been extraordinary this season, on course for a 3rd consecutive Golden Glove. And in games like this, where Newcastle will certainly have moments, Younger, you need a goalkeeper who can produce saves that feel almost routine for him, but would be career-defining for someone else. At right back, Ben White. I know Timber is the better option ideally, but I am not risking Timber from the start. White offers more attacking intent than Christian Mosquera, and he is reliable. He knows the system. He will stay disciplined. Centre-backs, Saliba and Gabriel, non-negotiable. Saliba has to be immense down the stretch. His absence from the run-in in 2022-23 is still something I think about. He is the one player in this Arsenal squad who can single-handedly change the character of a game defensively. Calm, commanding, impossibly good in the air. And Gabriel next to him, who, let us not forget, scored in the reverse fixture at St James's Park with a late header, is a constant set-piece threat. If Arsenal need a goal from a dead ball, Gabriel is the man. At left-back, Piero Hincapié keeps his place. He had a tough Carabao Cup final, but responded well after that. He deserves the chance to build on what has been a solid run of form. And Calafiori, though recovering, I would keep on the bench as an option. Now the midfield. This is the key. Zubimendi as the pivot. He shadows Bruno. That is his sole defensive instruction. Do not worry about anything else. Stay close to Bruno. Be a nuisance. Deny him time. Rice as the number 8 on the right of the three. This gives him the freedom to both press forward and drop back when needed. He covers ground better than anyone in this squad. If Bruno drifts, Rice follows. If Havertz drops deep, Rice makes the run beyond him. He needs to be everywhere on Saturday. And honestly, after what he said after the City defeat, it is not done. I want to see the version of Declan Rice who actually means that. Not the version we saw at the Etihad, the version we saw at Spurs. Odegaard as the number 8 on the left. More freedom than Zubimendi. His job is to find the pockets between Newcastle's lines, to be the link between midfield and attack. He was not at his sharpest against City, but he is capable of something special. And in a tight game, one moment of Odegaard quality is worth 90 minutes of possession stats. Now the front three, and here is where it gets hard to defend. Madueke on the right. I said it, I do not love it. But there is genuinely no one else ready to start there. Arteta is going to stick with him, and so would I, reluctantly, because the alternative is asking someone to play completely out of position, which creates worse problems than a struggling winger. What I would tell Madueke is this: stop trying to beat your man with a dribble every time. Use White behind you, combine, 1-2, go. Stop trying to be Saka. Saka takes players on because Saka is Saka. Your game right now needs to be simpler. Get the ball, play it quick. Get into the next space. Make Newcastle's left back work without having to be the one who beats him every time. Havertz at 9. He missed big chances against City, 2 of them, and that hurt. But tactically, he offers Arsenal something no other striker in this squad does: the ability to drop deep and link play, to drag centre-backs out of position, to make intelligent runs in behind when the moment is right. Victor Gyökeres, for all his qualities, would not fit this system the way Havertz does. He is the right pick. He just needs to put the ball in the net. And on the left, Eberechi Eze. I saved him for last because I want to say something that might be slightly controversial. I think Eze might actually be more important to this title run-in than Saka. I know how that sounds. Saka is our best player. He has been for 3 years. But hear me out. Saka on the right gets tracked. Every team in the Premier League has a plan for Saka now. He gets doubled up on. He gets fouled early. He gets crowded out in the final third. Eze coming inside from the left with the freedom to roam. Nobody has a clean plan for that. He is not predictable. He does not have a pattern that has been scouted to death. He nearly won Arsenal the game against City from almost nothing. One moment, one touch, one shot that was millimeters from going in. From the left, drifting inside, Eze can make something out of nothing. And in a game where the right side might be quiet and the central midfield battle might be tight, we might need Eze to pull something out of nowhere. Would you change anything in that 11? Tell me. Drop your version in the comments and let us compare. Now let me tell you how I think this game actually plays out, because there are 3 realistic scenarios, and one of them genuinely frightens me. Scenario A: Eze is the best player on the pitch. He drifts inside in the first 20 minutes and creates the kind of half chance that he converts with that left foot. Arsenal go 1 up. Newcastle chase the game. The space is open. Havertz doubles it late. 3 points. City feel the pressure. The title race is alive. That is the version I want. That is the version Arsenal are capable of producing. Scenario B. Madueke disappears. The right flank is sterile all game. Newcastle sit in their block, absorb everything, and hit Arsenal on the counter 3 or 4 times. One of those goes in. Arsenal chase the game. They huff and puff. Rice gets a yellow card. The Emirates goes quiet. 1-1. A point that helps nobody. That is the version that keeps me up at night. Because it does not just cost 3 points. It costs momentum. It costs psychological energy. And Arsenal have had a horrible habit in recent seasons of letting one dropped home point become a spiral. Scenario C. Timber comes on at 60 minutes, changes the game. He and Eze combine on the left and right in the closing stages. Arsenal score from a set piece, Gabriel, because of course it is Gabriel, in the 80th minute. 3 points, wild scenes at the Emirates. I like scenario C, but it requires Arteta to make a brave substitution at the right moment. And that is something he has not always done in big games. Which scenario do you think happens? Drop A, B, or C below. I am reading every single one. Here is my final take. Arsenal win this game, but only if Eze is the best player on the pitch. Only if Rice means what he said after the City defeat. Only if Arteta has the courage to use Timber at the right moment. Not just keep him wrapped in cotton wool. Because here is the bigger picture. Win this, and City suddenly have to deal with pressure. They travel to Everton in a fortnight, Everton, who have nothing to lose. And if Arsenal have won their last 2, Newcastle today and whoever is next. That journey to Goodison becomes the most uncomfortable 90 minutes Pep Guardiola has sat through all season. But lose or draw today, honestly, I think the title goes to City. Not because Arsenal cannot win their remaining games, they can, but because the psychological weight of dropping points in a game like this, at home, to a team you are expected to beat, that kind of thing does not leave you. We saw it in 2023. We saw it again in 2024. This group is older now, more experienced, more battle-hardened. But experience only helps if you use it. Win today, Arsenal. Win it properly. Win it with character. And tell me, who is your man of the match before a single ball has been kicked? Drop your prediction below. I will be back after the final whistle with the full breakdown. Come on, you Gunners.